Hey everybody, welcome to the free video, and we're going to look at the weekly and daily charts of a couple indexes, a couple earnings plays. So the Q's weekly squeeze is fired long. No matter how much this doesn't make sense, you never fight the squeeze. We are definitely at some resistance here. We were not up much today, but at the end of the day, there are no sell signals, and if there are no sell signals, we don't want to be beating our heads up, against the door here. For Google, which has earnings next week, it's just been on a tear, and it often actually does this prior to earnings. We've seen this multiple times, through this earnings tool here. 14 gap ups, average run into earnings, all that kind of stuff. I mean, all that data is there, and we've seen this happen before. And so the question is, I think prior to earnings we can get to 777. That's another $17 ahead from where we are right now. And there's opportunities to buy calls, even calls for next week, because we're going to have the added benefit of implied volatility increasing along with that. And then same story here for Amazon. I think Amazon can make new all-time highs prior to earnings, potentially even get up to that tree line at 769. Buying out of the money calls here where the implied volatility is going to expand in earnings, plus we potentially have that run. Looks pretty good to me. From there, what about other earnings plays that we did today? So Pandora was interesting. So Pandora had an expected move of $1.20, and it was a little volatile, but we just kind of sold some premium on this, mostly on the put side. I think the implied volatility was 258% or something crazy like that, which allowed us to sell, $12 puts at the money puts for 60 cents, which was crazy. And so that expired worthless. We did the 12-10 put spread, that expired worthless, and then the 11 9.5 put spread. And so that was some nice pure implied volatility crush to put into our pockets. For another interesting one was Chipotle's. Now for Chipotle's, we did not do one prior to earnings. Okay, we did not do one prior to earnings. We waited until after the fact. So we had this movement, we opened, and then here we placed the iron fly. Now when you place an iron fly, you obviously want it to be at 420, but if it breaks, in this case 430, the plan was, okay, let's buy back the short call and turn it into a long play, because at that point we're going to keep on going. So how did that work? So in this case, of course, we had to get out of any options that were in the money, but we let the short puts expire worthless, and then the calls we were able to flip and reverse and sell them out. So it turned it up. What started off with an iron fly that kind of like went to max loss, we're able to turn it around and turn it into a profitable trade. And that's just part of, you just want to have a set of rules on these trades, whether it's pre, during, or post earnings, of one, what is the best setup that you can do, or two, what's the best way to play it. From there, Starbucks was easy. That was an expected move, expired worthless, got to keep all that. UAL, that expired worthless, got to keep all that. BIIB, this hit our post earnings where it triggered an at the money put credit spread, and we're going to hold this for a few more days through the weekend to continue to capture a little bit more premium decay on that one. And then one here that I like for Priceline, this is what I talked about on the webinar the other night, buying Delta 10s. We got the $1,500 call on the 1160 put. Now these expire in 14 days, but I'm actually expecting both of these to continue. Look at this. The Priceline was down on the day, but this appreciated. But because the implied volatility on the stock will continue to increase, and the out of the money options on Priceline go nuts. So just a reminder, now I did do a free webinar where you guys can learn all the strategies about this stuff. If you want to see or work with me and do it live and kind of follow me, you can go to simplertrading.com/secrets for earning secrets. We're going to be doing 4 sessions that's going to cover 8 total live trading blocks. So session 1, we're going to start on Wednesday, July 27th. We're going to trade the close. We're going to set up the earnings trades. And then on Thursday, the 28th, at the open, we're going to manage those trades together. Okay. So for example, like CMG, we started off this morning with the iron fly, but at some point it was triggered. We buy back the short call and let it run. So we turned a trade that was a loser into a winner. Also, You can see here that we've got price line. Well, guess what? Right now, on Monday, if you haven't done it already, we're buying the 1500 call and the 1160 put as a straddle, Delta 10 straddle on Priceline, that as of today expire in 14 days, because Priceline is a great candidate for buying those out of the money Delta 10 options, and we tend to see an appreciation in those by the time the day of earnings comes up. Okay, and we could actually do the same in Tesla. So if you're comfortable doing that, great. You can do it on your own. Oh, it looks like I just looks like I get to go to the class right there. I just added it to the cart. That'll be great. I'm looking forward to it. And so what I would suggest, for a couple of you have asked us, like, well, I don't, if I was going to do one of these, which one do I do? Well, I'd just do the first one. And then if you like it and want to do other ones, I think it's something where you buy 3, you get 1 free. You can do that. And with this, you also get the indicators that we use, the earnings indicator that we use. And so this is going to be, now look, a class like this is not going to be for the faint of heart. It's going to be intense. Earnings classes can be intense. They can be very profitable, but the key is you got to understand how to set these things up. So I will talk through and talk about trades where if you've got a smaller account and you're newer, it's like, look, you need to focus on this setup. This is a setup that won't hurt you if it doesn't work out, okay? And also knowing the next morning when to pull off some of the legs and make adjustments, okay? Or if you're not really that familiar with options, what is the simple trade to do to take advantage of it? Oftentimes the biggest profits in earnings trades can happen the day after earnings, knowing when exactly to put on a low risk long straddle, okay? So all these different things that we're going to be doing, and this is the reason we structured this like this, we're going to have time to set up so here we're going to set up the pre-earnings IV collapse on these stocks plus a few others. Plus, during the session, we can actually go out and set up some of the Delta 30 and Delta 10 options for these, and even potentially this one, so we can queue up these. Okay, so on this day, we'll be doing that. We'll be queuing up those, talking about how to manage them. Then we open up and boom, we manage all these trades, potentially adding on new positions based on anything that goes beyond the expected move, and we're going to be moving along quickly but clearly and succinctly. Okay, they're a lot of fun if you know what you're doing, and I'm looking forward to sharing this information with you, and we'll see you there. Have a great weekend.